Good morning, everyone. I hope you're having a good weekend. I am sitting here struggling on what I want to work on today. I have 10 million projects I should be working on. And Quinn is here wanting attention. My little cat Zilla. Ah! Alarms. Oh noes. Turn off alarms. So what are you all working on today? I am trying to figure out what you guys might want to see today. So I should finish up my mind flayer. The pattern is nearly done. I worked on it most of the day yesterday. I just got to finish up my final draft, which means I need to get through the rest of the plushie and then make his cape, and he's done. And then I can publish that out. Otherwise, I kind of want to make something plush, but some of my plush yarn I don't pick up till later today. I want to make a giant plush Jimothy, so I think that could be really fun. I've started a plush griffin. We could work on that. I could start my next pattern, which is probably going to be a troll, so that could be fun. But I'm not 100% feeling that either. We can make a plush dodo for Dodo Born. Or even a plush Molotov cocktail for Dungeon Crawler Carl. But I'm just not, I don't know. Maybe I just get starting on the finishing up the mind flayer and we see where it takes us from there. So we'll see who shows up and what somebody wants to see. So, but either way, maybe I'll finish up what I'm supposed to be working on. So we're going to have an ad in about 30 seconds. So you guys go ahead and get your coffee or tea. I have tea this morning. My screen keeps getting wacky. Quinn, did you do that? I blame the cat. Anyways, and I will see you in a few minutes then. Or in 30 seconds, you know. But all right. So let's get our crochet camera going. So as you can see, I have this little guy going. All right, sorry I missed the messages there while it was doing its silly ad thing. My new screen is not as OBS updated, and I'm struggling with the way it decided my layout should be now. So, silly things. Hi, Furby Stitch. How are you doing? I have done a dragon dice bag, but I could do another one. I have a pattern for a tiny one that just holds one set of dice, which is really cute. That could be kind of fun. I don't know. I think he's more of a level 2. He's so tiny. So I'm experimenting with new yarn for my final drafts for photos. And so before that, this is kind of the size of my acrylic yarn, right? So it turns out to be, you know, decent amigurumi size. My acrylic cotton is about the same size, my cotton acrylic that I was using. But this cotton acrylic is so teeny. He's like mini me. I don't know. It's just kind of too adorable to be evil. But I really do like the quality of the yarn. You can kind of see there's not any sheen to it, and I think it's going to really represent, and it's not fuzzy. I think it's going to represent really well in photos for my book. So, but it's so tiny, it makes my hands hurt. And I have to go back and do every one of my plushies in this yarn, if that's what I decide to do. It is a fun technique to get the robes flowing, like, you know, to give it the illusion of robes rather than just a cone. So we're working in the front post on these stitches. But I don't know, I kind of feel like he needs to talk in a squeaky voice because he's so teeny. It's small but powerful. Yeah, the yarn is Cascade Yarn Sarasota. And this company actually originated here in Seattle in Pioneer Square, I think. And so I love that it's a local yarn company too, so I don't have to deal with tariffs and things like that. And they're starting to get enough colors to really make it worthwhile for me. Because I think they have, I forget how many colors they have. The place I ordered these from had 35 colors, but I think there's closer to 50 or 60 colors, maybe even more. That would be funny. A little helium balloon. For the UK, I've ordered from Hobby before, and it seems, well, no, it's not quite like, it's about the thickness of the Hobby Friends yarn that's just cotton. It feels more like paint box yarn, though, and I don't remember where that one's from. I feel like the European companies have more of this kind of quality of yarn than we do here. But basically it's just a 50-50 acrylic cotton. Oh, I'm sorry, 60% cotton, 40% acrylic. Whereas the other one I was using, where did it go? I was using Hirschner's My Ami, which is, I think it's a US company. But it was 55 acrylic and 45 cotton, and it's more of a worsted weight. That's what gives me these plushies. But it's still, I just don't like that. I don't know what it is about yarns that are worsted weight with cotton in them. They just don't have quite the smoothness that the acrylic does. So, oh look, we already have somebody I get to ban. So sorry, dude, but we don't need you chatting on our stream. We don't need it. Where'd you go? There it is. All right. I think I banned the intruder. Oh, go away, message. My new interface is irritating me a tad. Oh, I see. I can make it smaller. Oh my goodness, that's so much better. Except the little thing won't go away. There we go. It was too big. I couldn't find the X on the window for banning the silly dude. I don't think I've ever tried Pato yarn. Let me take a look at that real quick. Oh, that's pretty. Maybe I'll pick some of that up and try it out. No, I really liked the hobby yarns for a while, or Hobby, or whatever it is, Hobbii. But they were just, I had to order so many. Bugables, good morning. The Mind Flayer got tiny. He got shrink rayed. I found a new yarn I'm trying for my final plushies, and look how teeny those little stitches are. But it's a really good quality finish for doing my photos for the book. And since we're going to start layout in the next week or so, I got to get like some more final pictures ready. So, and I've got to decide how many more patterns I'm actually going to do. I think I have a dozen patterns already for plushies for the book. And so, so worsted yarn is, so like when I go to Hobby to buy yarn, they have 8/4, 8/6, and 8/8, I think, and it's an 8/8. It's 8 strands, I guess. I don't know. It's just a thicker. It's a weight 4 yarn. So if your labels have the little number labels on them for how thick the yarn is, worsted is usually a 4. I wonder what the Sarasota is. But I'm really enjoying the Sarasota yarn. It's, even though it's tiny, it has a good feel to it. Yeah, this is also considered a 3. But what's funny is this is considered a 3, and so is this. So there's a wide variety in how thick the yarn really is. Also, I use a much tinier hook with them usually because I want to get them, what's the word? Super tight so that stuffing doesn't show. I know, I feel like you should talk in a little squeaky little voice like, I'm evil, fear me. Because she's like mini-me compared to this other one. So, yeah, I'm having fun with it. I could just have giant Jimothy come eat him. Nom, nom, nom. Isn't this adorable? This is my giant Jimothy. Actually, this is my medium Jimothy. Today I'm going to pick up some really, some variegated gray yarn to make a giant plush Jimothy. So he'll probably be, you know, maybe as big as my bee up there. I don't know. So we'll see how big he turns out. Oh, Sarasota. It is. So this is the, come on, camera. Where you go? Backwards is forward and forwards is backwards. So it's Cascade Yarns, Sarasota. And yes, I love my, Jimothy is our unofficial Seattle mascot now. He's a raccoon with short spine syndrome that was discovered in Seattle probably a couple of years ago, but he suddenly went viral this last month. And so it's been kind of crazy. So everything has Jimothy on it now. And he's kind of the hope we didn't know we needed. He's just dorky and silly and does little somersaults. And I don't know. Everybody's, you know, stalking out the neighborhoods that he's been found in and stuff. And so the whole thing now, like, let the wild be wild and leave Jimothy alone. And so I'm like, so I made a free pattern so everybody can make their own Jimothy and leave the real one alone. So. All right, but I think I'm to the point in this Mind Flayer where I need to count. So I don't know if I want to do this one today or not. So you mentioned, let's see, what did you mention? Oh, the dice bag. We could do the little dragon scale dice bag. That could be fun. Maybe we'll grab the yarn I have for that, and you guys can pick which color you want me to make it. At least I think I have some extra. So up here, I have all the classes I usually teach. So up here, let's see if camera won't go up there. Anyways, I have totes of all the classes I teach just so I can grab it and go with it, go when I want to. I do like that the camera can follow me around though now. Although it probably makes you guys a little seasick sometimes because it gets a little wacky. So anyways, so here's some of the little dice bags I made. Aren't those cute? I had big ones too, but I like that I had something I could finish a lot faster. See what yarn I have. do like this color, but I don't have much of it left. I bet if I pulled that out, there'd be enough though. So I have a couple of started dice bags that when I was doing classes, it was easier to do part of one. But I really love this Ferris wheel yarn for the dice bags, whether it's the large ones or the small ones. It changes color just the right amount. So really we're just talking yarns today instead of patterns. Oh, a dragon that carries a dice bag. Oh, that I may have to do that. And yeah, they look like flowers or leaves. So this one is the same. It's the same pattern, but instead of the crocodile stitch that's rounded, all I did was put a mini picot stitch on the end, and it made it more leaf shaped. But I like that it's really versatile that way. But I do, and I love these little metal beads on the ends. They add so much to it. But I do like they hold just exactly a little set of dice, even with this thin yarn. See how we could do that this morning? That might be about my skill level today. So all I need to do is pull out part of this one so I get it down to the right, so I can salvage some of this yarn, which I've been meaning to do anyways. All right, so let me pull up my pattern for that, because then I don't lie to you guys. So, you know, if I do a pattern, it might as well be one you can go back and follow along. And this one's already been published. It's up on my Patreon for free. So let me see if I put my Patreon here. I did not. Okay, so all right, if I type that right, that should take you to where the pattern is. I might be able to go grab the actual pattern too. But I like on this pattern, what I've done on the published one too, is I kind of give some charts too, so that it's easy to see the repeat. Because it's really just 4 or 5 rows, or a 4-row repeat that makes it pretty easy to follow. And I like some patterns being very visual so that visual learners can grasp it too. When I'm teaching classes, I always wonder, why are people willing to pay me to teach them something they could learn on YouTube? But then I realized that a lot of people learn different ways. I mean, I knew that, but it was just interesting to see it. That some just needed to look at it a different way. And so I always try and include some charts or just different ways of looking at it other than just the words of the pattern, especially if it's something a little complicated to explain. I think I remember now why I didn't pull this out. This yarn definitely does not like to unravel. It's just a tiny bit fuzzy. Okay, so we're just going to unravel yarn today. I will fight with the yarn. I will be victorious, yarn. I've done it before. I could barbarian it, but then it would break. So I'm trying not to, but it really wants me to break it. This music sounds very video game now. My middle kid composes music, so this is their music. They told me I could use on stream without having to pay them royalties. I did buy all the music from them, but just the listening rate, not the ownership rate. But they've written hundreds of songs for My Little Pony, and they're in the Brony fandom and stuff. But this is their music for their D&D games. That they compose music for their D&D. And so I really do like it for this because it doesn't have a lot of words that compete. Some of their music with words is really cool too. I like that they have a real storyteller style to it. Well, thank you all for helping me decide what I wanted to make today, because I was not feeling it. I worked a weird job yesterday. I've started managing events at a place where I've been hosting events for 4 years, but they asked if I'd be willing to supervise other events when people rent the space. And I'm like, yeah, I could probably do that. It's not like I'm not kind of doing that already. But I'm not good at sitting and doing nothing. So, of course, I took my yarn. So then I crocheted for like 11 hours yesterday. So I'm, a little done. All right, so normally I would do 2 rows of double crochets. Yes, so we will take it down to tiny. But see, by pulling this out, I can leave the 2 rows that were already done. It'll just go a lot faster when it's not tiny. Of course, it'll take me 2 hours just to pull it out now. But then I had to do cleanup after the event, which I think I overdid it. Like, I think I cleaned more than they expected me to, but I wasn't sure, so I erred on the side of doing too much. So I'm a little tired today. But it does remind me that if I can spend that much effort cleaning somebody else's place, I probably should do more of it here. Instead, I keep taking more jobs so I don't have to be home to see how messy my house is. But, that's how ADHD works, right? So what are you all working on? So yes, I'm trying to figure out if I'm going to design some more patterns for the book too. I've got 5 more I could do, but I think I've got 12. I think I'm going to do a troll. I might do a beholder, but beholder's so hard to get a lot of detail on something that's small enough to finish in a couple of hours. Even, because the one in the D&D book that just came out, the D&D crochet book, is huge from what I can tell. It's in order to get that many little safety eyes and stuff, or, I don't think they use safety eyes. To get that many eyeballs, you have to have a certain level of detail. So it ends up being a lot bigger than what you would normally do for an amigurumi. So, because I usually like keeping mine to about 30 to 36 stitches around for the head. And that's a pretty tiny beholder. Although I guess beholders could be bigger. I could make it bigger. All right. Come on. Let go. There we go. 1 more row and we are down to where we need to be. I do like that this pattern is really a nice quick make. I think it took me half an hour. I did it on stream before. I think it went pretty quick, even with extra talkies. Maybe it was an hour. But when I teach the bigger one as a class, it's 2 3-hour sessions or 2 2-hour sessions where I get them started on it really well, and then they go away for a week and then come back and we finish the details at the top. Because not everybody works as fast as I do either. So I like giving them time to really work on it. And the stitch isn't hard. It's just visualizing how to turn it. I mean, because you're not working just straight back and forth. But it is a fun little pattern to do. And you can do it in any size. The main thing is that you just need an even number of stitches divisible by 4, I think. I think that's how I did it. Okay, so we're going to pretend, well, I'm going to try and remember what size hook I used on this. Let's see. Which bag I put it in. There it is. No, I think it was a 4. A 5, I mean. This will do. I've got a 4. It's at least a little bigger than a 3.5. So this stitch I like using a little bit bigger hook, like the size the yarn actually calls for, because it actually makes it kind of soft. If I use too small, it just doesn't quite do it right. So we're going to pretend that I started with a magic ring and that I double crocheted 12, And then I put 2 double crochets in each stitch around to have 24, which I think is what I have here. Yep, 24. All right. I always love going back and reading a pattern going, I didn't say to slip stitch and chain whatever. I didn't. Yeah. I did on some rows, but not all of them. I'm appalled at myself. All right, so I just make assumptions. All right, so I'm going to slip stitch, and I'm going to fix this in the pattern so I don't do it again. Come on. Hi, Quinn. Yes, I'll give you your Catzilla credit. I am doing good today. How are you? Welcome, welcome. You're here just in time for our Catzilla invasion. Feel free to give treats and she might be appeased. You guys can use channel points to give the monster treats. Yes, I know. I know. She's like, you were gone all day yesterday. How else will I get love without invading? Oh, did I rough you up? Now you gotta have a bath. Yeah. You won't. Oh, you know what? We forgot to reset the Catzilla counter. Hold on. Reset. Because today is a new month. You're back at 0, so let's give you your 2 credits for today. If I could see the screen past your butt. There. Let's see if you can do as good as March. March, she invaded 44 times. And I didn't stream that often. Yeah, I know. You were good. I think she likes my new desk. Oh, I see. I put the thing in your way. Let's move over there so I can actually see what I'm doing. All right. So now my pattern actually says what I'm supposed to do here. All right. So the way this pattern works is the very first row we set ourselves up with a kind of a grid. So basically we put 2 double crochets in this first stitch. So basically chain 3 and a double crochet. Then we chain 1, we skip 1, and then we put 1 double crochet. Then we chain 1, we skip 1, and we put 2 double crochets. So it's just a series of 1 double crochet and 2 double crochet all the way around. So it makes a little grid. And then the next row we work in that in all kinds of weird ways. Oh, look! Buggable sent you treats. Where'd you go? Kitty, kitty! Oh, there she is. Are you chasing something over there? They're convinced there's a mouse or something out here. She goes completely under this cabinet. My garage has all IKEA cabinets I built in. And some are like floor to ceiling pantry type cabinets. So I have them on little metal legs. They're only about this tall, like 3 inches. She's bigger than 3 inches, but she'll like flatten herself and go all the way underneath it. So right now, let's see if I can show what she's doing. So can you all see down here? I'm not sure if it'll follow. But there is a cat tail way down here. See right there? She's silly. All right. It could just be a spider or... Oh, and then I lost the camera. Hey, come back here. I'm over here. The follow me feature of this camera is interesting. Yeah, I hear the gathering energy to clean the house. I really need to do that. I went and helped one of my friends fold fabric for hours the other day, but did I want to clean my house? No. just haven't got my rhythm yet since camp. I volunteered at Girl Scout Day Camp, and so I was there for a whole week 2 weeks ago. Was it 2 weeks ago? Yeah. And then I survived the week after, which is better than usual. Usually I'm kind of like not lethargic for like a week, especially if it's hot. Yeah, she's crazy Catzilla, that's for certain. There must be a spider. She will swat bugs completely out of the air. She is really funny that way. But I do like that this pattern, other than just being able to count to 2, alternate the pattern without messing it up. I have to check myself every now and then, so it should be 2 1 2 1. Nope, I messed it up already. Look at that. Clearly I cannot talk. I'll blame the cat. She was very distracting, being adorable and all. Oh, that's cool. What area are you guys in? I'm in the Pacific Northwest, so we're Western Washington Council. I was never a Girl Scout growing up, but I found out that I could be a Girl Scout as an adult. Who knew? I love our local day camp. I've been doing it for almost 10 years now. My kid, when they were in first grade, came home from camp because we had just started Girl Scouts. Oh, cool. And they said they wanted to know if they could be in Girl Scouts until they were a teenager, so they could be a PA, which is a program aide. Because the program aides at this camp actually run the camp. The adults are just there for safety and to guide them, but really it's a leadership program for the teens, not necessarily just a camp for the kids. But what everybody sees is a camp for the kids. All right, so when I get back around, I'm going to slip stitch in this first double crochet, and we have just this little bowl. But if I do it right, it's got 2 1 2 1 2 1 2 all the way around, because that'll make a difference. We could do them all as 2s, but I find this way is much easier going forward, so that I don't forget which one I'm going in then. But anyway, so I told them yes, they could do that. And now they're 16, and they've been a program aide for a couple of years now. And next year is their last year at camp before they age out as an adult. And, it's just such an amazing thing to see the growth they've had. So, all right. So this next one, we're going to start a crocodile or leaf stitch. So you guys get to vote. Are we going to do it scales or leaves? Do we want it looking mermaidy or dragony, or do we want it looking more leafy? Where did I put the other one? Or more pointy like the leafy one. And it's really cool because like some of the teens I've mentored since they were just barely tweens, they came back as adults this year, like 8 of them. We actually have to put a cap on how many teenagers we can have. We have 120 volunteers every year from the teens and about 80 to 100 adults for 215 campers. And so it's quite ironic. We have like a 1-to-1 ratio of volunteers to kids. All right. Any votes on leaves or scales? All right. Well, if we don't have any opinion, I think I'm going to lean towards scales on this one, and we'll make it look mermaidy, because this yarn does make me think mermaids. Okay. So to do the crocodile stitch, it's not hard, but it shifts the way you think about things, because it's kind of like a front post crochet, because when we have these double crochets, we're not working in the top of them. We're going to work down the side and then back up the other side. So I'll show that as we go. So this first one, I'm going to chain 3. Am I? Did I do this wrong? I think, well, either way, I'm going to chain 3 here because I need to put my double crochets. So I'm going to go around this post. So basically I'm turning it sideways to work in this double crochet this way. So 1, So basically I have my chain 3 and 4 double crochets. So then I'm just going to make sure I make this stuff up as I go each time. Is it just a chain or is it 2? Chain 1. Okay. All right, so we just chain 1 at the end. Then we turn our work around. So that other double crochet we had right here, we're actually going to work in it from this side. So I'm going to yarn over and come into it from this side. Once you grasp this, it's easy enough to do because you just kind of turn the work, and I actually just kind of pinch it where that's the only part I'm working in. So there's no confusion. I'm not, 4 and 5. So what that does is it gives us this little leaf. So basically we started here, we did our 5 double crochets. So you want to get it where you guys can see it good. Then we chain 1, and then we turned our work and went up the other double crochet this way. And so that gives us our little scale or petal or crocodile stitch. So then I slip stitch in the top of this 1 double crochet here. And then I repeat. So I yarn over, and then here's my other 2 pair here. I'm going to turn it and work in that double crochet. I really kind of need to put stage marks on my mat so I know where to keep my hand so that you guys can see it. And then we just keep repeating these 2 rows until we have it as tall as we want. For this little one, I usually do, it's only about 15 rows even with the drawstring rows. So it's not a very hard pattern. And it starts to chug along pretty quickly. And then we turn it, and then you see our other double crochet right here. We're going to come in from this angle. And again, I just fold the work like this and pinch it so that all I have is that double crochet to work around. And that does seem to make it a little easier. Yay, scales! I chose well. Since I didn't look at the screen. I'm not used to where the new OBS put my comments. I'm still working on it. At least I learned how to size them so they're smaller so they don't take up, so I can see more than 1 comment at a time. So. Look, 2 scales. So then I slip stitched in the top of that 1 double crochet there. Hello, Catzilla. Did your treats run out? You gotta learn to share. That's my desk. There you go. But I'm crocheting over here. She's like, I don't care. So have any of you done this stitch before? You're at least off to a really good start this month, Quinn. As she knocks stuff off. Oh, you're such a klutz. You are my cat. At least she hasn't tried to stick her paws in my tea this morning. She really had fun with my iced tea the other day. I'm like, those are ice cubes. Those are mine. Dang it. Now I got to go get new tea. As she stuck her paw in. So I'm really excited to finish up my D&D monster book, though, because once I finish that, I can move on to characters. Might actually, when I work on the troll, I might actually start working up the character ideas, because, trolls, hominid, bipedal, has arms, legs, nose. And so it might be reasonable enough to start working on the template for how I want to do the different creatures or different races and classes and stuff for a book on kind of a character builder where you could. I created a halfling barbarian a while ago for my own character for Daggerheart, and it made me start thinking that, you know, I could definitely create like different heads and bodies and arms and ears. And, you know, Troll's not that much different. It's just a little hunched over with giant ears and giant nose. But yeah, we could definitely, I definitely think that would be more fun to do on stream too, because we could have folks vote for like what the different body parts types are. Yes, I can count. I really can. So a lot of this is just flipping the work back and forth and back and forth. And so you don't really have to think about it too much. Counting to 5 occasionally. All right, so when I get back to the beginning, I'm going to slip stitch into that top of the last double crochet, and I'm picking up the corner of that first one. I think I have something a little wonky in my pattern, because I think what I did in the past was started with the 1 double crochet, not the 2, but we'll figure that out. Every time I do one of my patterns, I find a bug in it, and it's really annoying. I really should do more tester calls. I really do need to find a lot more testers. I just don't really want to do a public tester call yet. I'd rather do people that at least I'm somewhat know before since I'm going to publish all of this in a book, I kind of want to make sure I have some control over it. Is there a bug up there now, Gwen? Don't fall off. She's chasing something up on the high table. I'm like, you're going to fall. Anyways, okay, so here's our first row, little scales all the way around. And what's cool about this is even if you do a large one, you can basically do this any size you want. This one's going to be a coffee cozy to go around a coffee cup, was what I was playing with for this one. That's why it doesn't have a bottom. But the same pattern works no matter how many rows and how big the rows are, as long as it starts with some divisible of 4. All right, so when we get back here, now we're going to chain 1. So, no, chain 3. We're going to put another double crochet in the same space. So now you put 2 double crochets between the scales, chain 1, and 1 double crochet in the middle. And you do that all the way around. So 2 at the joints between them. And that's what causes the scales to overlap. Chain 1 and 1 in the middle. And you just keep repeating this until it's as tall as you want. So like one of my dice bags I made super tall. It was the larger dice bag, but I made it tall enough to put my phone in. So when I went to the Ren Fair, I had a little fairy bag. Oops, I need to put 2 there. I say you don't have to count, and then I can't do it. So clearly I have a problem. So what are patterns you guys would like to see me make, like create? Is there anything you've always wanted to make and haven't seen a good low-sew pattern out there for? Because I am partial to low-sew patterns. I really like things you don't have to assemble when you're done. I don't mind something like sewing wings on or something you want to have a lot of control over the angle and maybe even want to customize it between different ones. But arms, legs, all of that, I really would prefer to have crocheted in place. Sometimes ears you want to have a lot of control over too, but I just feel like the more I can have, it's like the brows on here. I use front loop stitch or back loop stitches to leave the front loops so that I can go back and crochet them on later. I really do like making it. And it doesn't make it necessarily more beginner friendly because some of the techniques are more difficult to get it to be low sew. But I do find that's maybe it's just my ADHD doesn't want to sew everything together when I'm done. All right, so again, over in the middle of every one of these scales, we have a single double crochet, and then we have 2 double crochets at the joints between them. And so now we are set up for our next row. And so then we just repeat. And so this one we're starting with a 2. And actually, I think I'm just going to start, yeah. So I'm going to chain 3. And then put my double crochets. maybe. So when I get off stream today, I'm going to run up to Michael's and pick up my yarn order. They had a 30% off order yarn discount, or I think it was off of a lot of things yesterday. But I think it ended yesterday. So I ordered it yesterday. I'm going to go pick it up today. But I'm getting some burlap blanket, some of their mystical yarn. It's kind of like a variegated, but I think that might be really fun for Jimothy to look like mottled fur. And then I've got a friend who really wants me to make one for them. So on the first one of each row, I kind of do a sanity check to make sure I put it in the right place, that they're staggering like they should. And then I just keep repeating this rhythm until we're all done. But I'm also trying to figure out, I kind of want to start doing giveaways too of things I make on stream. I just don't really know how I want to deal with shipping, because if it was US, it would be easy. But international shipping is kind of a little intimidating right now. So I'm trying to figure that out. But Buggables helped me troubleshoot, or helped me try the giveaway tech. So I got my giveaway utility widget, that's the word, widget configured. So I got that working now. Maybe I just wait until my book is done and I could give away copies of the book, and they're digital, so that might be easy. But I'm also trying to figure out things to do with my Patreon, because right now my Patreon is just my early release of my patterns. So if you want to try any of my patterns, they're all over on my Patreon. There's free ones too, but my premium ones are the D&D ones. And if you want to test any of those, just reach out. I'm happy to send you a copy of it. I just wanted them I didn't want to release them first on Etsy. I wanted them, since they're going to be in a book, I don't want to risk them getting out there to the world yet. But I am very nervous that I have bugs in my patterns, because I'm ADHD, and every time I do one, I find something, but then I change something else, because I can noodle it to death. They will never be done, in my opinion. Every time I do it, I'll change something. And so when I test it, I change something, and then I need to test it again. And so I try not to do that. But if you have the patience to try my patterns out, I would be happy to send you any that you'd like to try. So let me know if something appeals, or if there's something you'd like to see me create. Like, do you have a Jimothy where you live, where it's a silly, adorable little critter? And if you haven't watched a Jimothy video, just pull one up. They're kind of adorable. Oh, my music stopped. I'm like, why is it so quiet? I probably should find a way to put that on repeat. Probably if I, downloaded it properly and didn't just play it through Bandcamp. I have it on my other computer. I just don't have it on this one. And this one has so many more USB ports and stuff. And the other one I like better, but I do like having all the ports without having to have USB hubs and stuff to get everything to be able to plug in. And as it is, having 3 cameras, it challenges it some days. I do need to get my headphones working with it, though. I bought a Bluetooth adapter because this desktop doesn't have Bluetooth. But again, I've just been so lazy after camp. I would love you to test them. I love your style in doing your birds. And I also think, I know you also don't like to follow patterns, don't like to read patterns. And so I would love your input on like which things need more graphs or charts, or just more pictures, more things to help with it. So and I'll probably include something like this dice bag and some little non-critter things in the books as extras. I think I want to make Especially when I do I mean, there'll be some clothing and stuff, because like for the goblin, we gave him a little rainbow cape and stuff like that. Some of the other ones, the frog folk, and especially not the brave goblin, had clothing. But when I do the character book, I'll have a lot of stuff like that. And I think I might end up with weapons and everything else. So that could be really fun. So let me know if you have a D&D character or anything that you, I don't know. I'm thinking I might do some just live commissions or something, just to get different variables taken into account. I think that could be really fun. And so again, we're just putting 2 between them and 1 in the middle of. And if you don't do it right, the next row you find it and you fix it. You get to pull it out and do it over. So you get better about, catching yourself. But you can already see how the color changes are gradually starting to happen on this. I really do love this yarn for it. And it's only like $3 or $4 a skein if you find it. Sometimes you have to buy 3 of them to get that price on Amazon, but I do find them on sale sometimes for like $3 each. And so I'll buy a few. It really is just a fun colorway, and there's a lot of variety. Like this one had, very harvesty colors. The green one is really pretty for fairy bags, because like I've done one with like a berry colored yarn in this line, and then I used green for the top, and it was still a variegated green. Yeah, the character creation I think is going to be really engaging. So I'm thinking from a streaming standpoint, that won't be nearly as boring as watching me create a monster. And it works for a lot of characters. Like it wouldn't just have to be D&D. It could be even science fiction type, it could be more steampunk and cyberpunk and, steampunk too. But it could be a lot of different genres, which could be fun. Already I'm thinking I did this whole pattern wrong, because I should have started with a single double crochet, because then I wouldn't have to chain 3 and when I come back around slip stitch the top of it together. Anyways, I'm gonna have to change this whole pattern now because you guys made me do it. See what you've done? You only have yourselves to blame. Nope, I only have myself to blame, because clearly I wrote down a previous version of it where I'm just like, it made sense at the time. There's just some things that my brain just automatically adjusts for, that when I go to write it down, it just assumes things unless I've gone a few months without doing it. And then when I go back to it, I'm like, oh, yeah, I do that totally different. So look, now we're getting blue. I don't know, this is just really soothing to work on. Like, I think just the way the colors meld. And you're aiming for large holes. I don't know about you guys, but amigurumi, you have to aim for the V's. You have to aim for the individual stitches. And it, especially when working with tiny cotton yarn, it can be very tedious, or I don't know, I have to keep so much tension that it's kind of hard on my hands. And with this, it's loosey-goosey. I mean, I'm aiming for large holes with a bigger hook, and the bigger hook, the softer it gets. So I bet this would be pretty with a cotton yarn too. So if you wanted to wear it as Ren Fair wear or something, I would probably use a cotton or something that wasn't going to get fuzzy. But I only go to the Ren Fair once every year or so, because it's so hot where they hold it. I get overheated too easy now. Menopause has not been kind. Actually, I don't mind menopause. It's been good for the most part. I froze to death the first 30 years I lived here. In the last few, I've just been like running warm now, but I don't tolerate heat as well as I used to. So that's been a problem. But I grew up in Texas. You'd think I could handle the heat more, but I have not missed it. I like it here. Probably doesn't help. It probably helps that my husband broke the air conditioner on my car a year and a half before we moved up here where he was from. And he's like, every gray, cloudy day, he's like, hey, you like this? I could get you a lot more of this. I'm like, yes, please. And I really do like the gray, cloudy days, especially now. I've had issues with my eyes this last year, and I can't handle bright sunlight anymore either. Hence, again, more reason that I don't do the Ren fairs often. Our Ren fair is going on right now for like 5 weeks, and I would love to go, but just that it's in a very dusty field with no shade, and they have tents and stuff, but it's just not. There's not a lot of places to sit down that's shady and stuff. And I'm getting old. I'm old. Get off my lawn. You know. Yes, Texas heat is different. Although it's starting to get more muggy and hot up here in the summers now too. Thank you, global warming. All right. So I think we just have 2 more rows of scales to go and we're done with it. And then we can move on to the top finishing. You can see it works up pretty quickly. So yeah, I did to row 11. So yeah, so 5 rows of scales for this design. I think 1, 2, 3. Oh, only 4 actually. So the next one's going to be, or could be. So again here, because we chained 3 here, I usually just put my hook through that double crochet when I do this slip stitch. So I think I'm going to change the pattern so that's a little less awkward. Again, changes. Oh, come on, let go. So Tuesday I will probably work on a plush Jimothy on stream. That will be fun. Because I did this one. This was Premier Parfait. So it's a bulky yarn, but in my opinion it's kind of a medium bulky. It's not quite as chunky as like a Bernat blanket. Our cute little. I'm gonna have to unwind some more yarn though. I think I need to unravel this one. Oh, I see. That's part of this one. That's not what I wanted to do. Where'd that red string come from? I think I'll unravel this. Ah! I am trouble this morning. Come on, give me the end of my yarn. This yarn is so tangly, so prone to tangles, I guess is the word. Okay. What's really cool about color changes though is because if you change color on the row underneath, nobody's even going to see it. So I'm just going to continue with this until I run out, and then I'll switch to the purple because nobody's going to see it until the next scale row. Oh, hydrate. Oh, I need to do that. I did not drink enough water yesterday. Oh, thank you. I've been doing the Finch app, and on there I've got where I've got to drink 2 water bottles a day or it judges me. That, and I have reminders to feed myself too. So, you know. So yeah, you can see how this definitely is a pretty, this pattern works up pretty quickly, and I just love that it works off of these just single, this grid underneath and then the stitches on top. Well, I'm so glad you could pop in. Have you started trying to crochet too, or just general crafting? I may have just got my yarn in my tea. Don't mind me. I'm a barbarian over here. I'm a heathen. Things do not go well. Oh, I love Cricut stuff too. I've been doing Cricut since quarantine. I talked to my husband. I'm like, for my birthday this year, because we were stuck in quarantine, I'm like, it might be fun to have a Cricut machine and try doing vinyl cutting and stuff. And so he's like, just buy one. So I did. And that was a rabbit hole, because apparently if you give Kim a Cricut, then she's going to need a heat press. And if she gets a heat press, then she's going to need a mug press. And then if she gets a mug press, she's going to realize she doesn't like infusible ink, and she's going to need a sublimation printer. Once she has a sublimation printer, she's going to realize she can print on other things other than mugs and tote bags, and that she really needs a convection oven just for crafting that I can bake them in. Then she's going to realize that doesn't work so good. And so now she needs a tumbler press to do water bottles, because that's so much easier. And yeah, now I have like 4 different size heat presses. I don't have the big automatic clamp down ones or anything. I just have the easy presses and equivalents. But I do have a lovely tumbler press that I love doing water bottles. It's by HTV Romp. It was like $100 too. It wasn't that expensive for what you get. And that's the one I use the most. But yeah, I have too much stuff. And then my husband's like, don't be mad. I bought you a 3D printer. And so I went down that rabbit hole. I have so many crafts. And so that's why I'm like, I have a Twitch stream now so that I can play with everyone. So if you have a craft you want to do, I probably have the stuff to do it. I don't really do quilting. I have quilted things, but I don't. My husband strongly suggested quilting was a rabbit hole that maybe I wanted to steer clear of unless I was really serious about it. And I haven't really done a lot of scrapbooking. I've made some cards and stuff, but paper crafting is not traditionally where I enjoy it as much. We got another ad coming in about 30 seconds. So anyways, so yeah, that's my origin story of how I have an entire 2-car garage full of crafting stuff to share with you all. This shelf behind me used to all be fabric. So now I'd gotten where I wasn't even using my yarn because I'd broken my wrist about 15 years ago. And I'd gone about 8 years on Prozac without touching my crafts. And so I'd gotten rid of most of my yarn. And look at this. Now it's all back. So, but I love that now I can do this and share this with everyone. It's kind of validation for my lifetime of crafting. I'll stop talking for the ads though, so for those that can't hear me. All right, I can't tell if we're back. Well, thanks for stopping in, and definitely check it out again. I'm usually streaming Tuesdays and Sundays. And I think we're back from ads, so I'm untangling yarn now for those who just joined. Let's see. I think I tied off the yarn here, and that's why it's being weird. Either that or it got the tail of this stuck in there somehow. Don't know what I managed to do there, but I tangled it good. There we go. The tail from the other yarn got tangled in the stitches of the yarn I was trying to pull out. Silly, silly. Don't know what. Oh, I know what I did here. I did a. I don't think it was a slip stitch. I think it was a. Maybe it is slip stitch now. I think I did a crab stitch or a. No, I guess that was just slip stitch. It's very annoying though. Because again, this yarn is very annoying. All right, I think I got enough to work with. So when I get off of here, I'm going to go to Michael's and pick up yarn. What do the rest of you have planned for Sunday? Very exciting days. All right. 5. So yeah, I really want to mix things up and start doing some of my other crafty things too. I did a stream with my Cricut vinyl. So I cut out 200 and some names for camp because I had the brilliant ideas a few years ago to put our camp names on the back of our shirts so that when we're at camp we can see each other across the field, because again there's 200 and some volunteers and we only see each other once a year, so we don't always remember each other's names and it's a little awkward when we get started. And I have social anxieties, so being able to know somebody's name I'm walking up to that I already know them, that's really helpful. So now I've got volunteered myself to making 200 shirts a year. So we pay to have the logos put on the front of the shirts, but when they arrive I have like a week to get them all cut and pressed for everybody's names, and I have to put the right name on the right size shirt, which to me is very intimidating. So I make other people come over and help me with that so that I'm not the one liable. Anyways, so I did that live on stream. Storage Thrower was here and she helped me cut them all out. She did all the teenage shirts, which was more than the adult shirts. And we always have some last minute changes, so we had a few after that. But then I had 4 or 5 people come over across 2 days and we pressed them all. But it was really fun to do that on stream. I'm going to be doing heat transfer vinyl again at my in-person meetup here Friday. Yeah, this coming Friday. So I'm going to I have a bunch of pot holders from Dollar Tree. They have a little pocket in them and they're great for like teacher gifts and stuff, or just last minute holiday gifts. So they're fun to put irreverent quotes on or things you couldn't buy at a store, you know. Or just, you know, things that are more personal to the person you're making them for. There's a lot of little teacher quotes like earning brownie points and things like that, and you put a package of brownies in them. But with the pocket, they're great because you can buy a small package of cookie mix and a cookie cutter or a spatula or a whisk. And so for like $5 you have a teacher gift or even coworkers, things like that. And so I've made a lot of those, but I have 100 pot holders up on my shelf that I really need to use or figure out something to do with before I have to move in a year or so. So I'm going to do that next Friday. I also have a bunch of little zipper pouches that come with the sublimation pouches that I buy. Or sublimation tote bags that I buy. It comes with a tote bag and a zipper pouch, but we don't always use the zipper pouch. So yeah, maybe I'll figure out something to stream on that before. I don't think I'll do it before Friday, but maybe after Friday. And we'll use up some more. I like that it doesn't take long to make them, and then I have they're very assembly line gifts. So and it's enough, and it's portable enough that I can take it with me. It doesn't require my big heat press, and I can take my Joy Extra. It's basically Cricut Joy Extra. It's the it does 8.5 by 11 size paper, so it doesn't do the big 12 by 12 sheets that I'm used to using with my Cricut. But my Cricut Maker has gotten kind of tired. It closes fine, but when I go to open it, I lift the lid and the front doesn't open unless I pry it off, and it pops, and I'm like, I don't think I want to risk breaking that. So it stays here open all the time now. And so the little one is at least a lot more portable too. So then I just need to take a laptop or tablet, my Joy Extra, my small heat press, because I have a little 6 by 7 inch one that is great for doing the pot holders. It's a perfect size. And it's a small enough project that people could come and do a project and leave with their project, and then they can go fill it up with stuff. But I do have a whole tote full of spatulas or something. I had whisks too, but I think those went first. But I don't know, it's just kind of fun. A fun little community project. And, you know, as much as it would be fun to charge for workshops for that, I don't do very well at that. So usually somebody throws money at me inevitably at these events, but I don't really charge for it. Because I feel everybody should get to try a project before they invest heavily into it. And what was really adorable is one lady, right before summer, she was leaving for the summer, and she gave me a little card, and I didn't even think to open it until she's like, open it when you're at home. And I'm like, okay. And then ADHD, I forgot for 2 weeks, and I opened it up a couple of weeks later, and it had $100 in it. So I figure, you know, I may not make money on any individual event, but they pay off. People, you know, give me $20 here or even $5, and it works out in the end. I just trust the universe will take care of things. And maybe when I'm old and gray, you know, people will take care of me in the same way. So, but originally I'd bought a lot of the materials when I was doing real estate, and I could expense them through my business as marketing. So that was kind of nice, but this is more fun not having strings attached to it. Not like I felt there were strings attached, but other people did. Well, not that they really did, but I don't know. It just felt kind of weird. Although now they just question, why would you do this? You know, because I like to. All right, so on this row, I'm still repeating the same grid pattern, I think. And on around 4. Oh, I guess I don't. Okay, so I lied. So now we're going to put, so since I have the 4 rows of scales, I could do one more if I really wanted to, but I think I'd have to unravel a lot more yarn, and that's annoying. So now I'm just putting 2 double crochets in each place. So, because this is my row for my drawstring. So I'm putting 2 double crochets between them and 2 double crochets in the middle of them. So still a grid, it's just more consistent. Well, in either way, it lets me get rid of all of my stuff, because I've got a lot of projects that I have ADHD. I buy into 150% because I think I'm going to do it forever and ever and ever, and then the next shiny thing comes along and I've got too many craft supplies left over. Like, I have a whole cabinet full of little caboodle boxes. If any of you were around in was it the 90s when caboodles were really popular? Well, Dollar Tree came out with some a few years ago. They were like mini ones, and they're really cute. They hold like 2 cakes of yarn. They're not very big, but I got a whole case of those, so I have 15 of those still in my cabinet. I got to figure out what to do with. They just weren't quite. I thought they'd have a little tray in them too, and I thought that would be really cute, but they didn't. So it's not. They weren't quite as nice as I wanted. But they were $1, so what did I expect, right? So I've given a couple of them away as little crochet starter kits. I might just make up some more, but kind of like being able to put their names and stuff on them. I figure if I'm going to make something, I want to make something they can't buy. And so they sit there until I find somebody that I want to make them for, or a specific request from somebody. And, then I should just say, I have 15 of these. Who would like one? And let's play, So maybe that's what I need to do this next year. Pick a cabinet, what's in it, and let's figure out how we're going to use it so I don't have to pack it. Because there's some things I use all the time. Like, I love these water bottles. These here. So this one I made into a checklist. It's got a to-do list on it where if I use wet erase markers, I can write on it and it won't rub off on my hands until I wash it. Usually, unless you've just washed your hands and your hands are mildly damp. That was the flaw in my plan. But it still was a fun idea. And I still like using them, especially at work when I think of things I need to do when I get home. Apparently today we're playing Let's Untangle the Yarn. So Buggables, do you do any other crafts? Have you fallen down any other rabbit holes other than crochet? I need to tie my ends together too where I joined my yarn. So I can crochet over it on this row. So I also thought about making a version of this bag that had a lining, that I crochet a lining for. But most of these, you can see the holes, it's got holes, but unless you're using the teeny tiny dice, they're not going to really fall through it. So I think it's fine. I'm just going to crochet over these strings as I go because I'm lazy. Yeah, I learned crochet before knitting. I learned to crochet when I was 5, and I didn't learn to knit until I was in my 20s, but I wanted to learn to knit forever and ever. Because I grew up in the 70s, and crochet was for clothing, it was very specific. It was a bit traumatizing. It took me decades to get over my PTSD from granny squares. Because the yarn back then was really ugly, and it was, I don't know, it didn't, I mean, some people now, there's a certain nostalgia for that, and I get it. But at the time, it was not pretty. It was very, very specific style. And so, but I recently found that if I do granny squares with pink yarn, I'm fine with it. So I've gotten over that now. But I always wanted to learn to knit because I love the look of knit for apparel, for hats and scarves and clothes. And so I whined about it for so long that after I got married, even not even a whole year, my husband, for Christmas bought me a Teach Yourself to Knit book so you can shut up and stop whining about it. And I taught myself in like 2 hours. But I felt like I'd do it wrong because I knit continental, because I learned to crochet first. I hold it like I crochet, and so I don't throw my yarn. So I've always felt like it was weird that I did it wrong. But apparently that's a valid style. All right. Hello, Catzilla. Yes, I want to lick your fur. Hello, I have a cat. Oh, hi. You're spoiled. You already got treats today. I'll give you your cat. Now I'm itchy. I'm not even allergic to cats and you're making me all itchy. Your fur's all floofy. All right, where's my yarn? You can stay there, but I gotta see what I'm doing. All right, so we're almost around with this row, which will be our channel that we feed our drawstring through. And then we'll just do some little decorative touches on top. You need to be brushed. It's like I've been gone. All right, so now we can see we have our little grid, but they're all 2 double crochets all the way around. So this next row, I said that was the loops for the drawstring. Clearly, I can't write a pattern to save my life. Because I actually added the loops for the drawstring before that, but that's okay. Hi, you. She's just snuggled up in my arms now. This is the silliest cat. She will not sit on you. She will not come for love. She only wants to be here because I can't pet her because my hands are busy. All right. I think I just have a comment in the wrong place, which is throwing me off. All right. So now basically in each chain 1 space, I'm going to single crochet, and then I'm going to chain 3, and then single crochet in the next. So this is just making a little bit of a lacy top to it so that when it's drawn closed, it'll look cute. So chain 3 and single crochet, chain 3 and single crochet. She is very funny. And considering every time I move my arms, I'm jarring her around like, she's like, I don't care. You are the silliest monkey. So yeah, it looks like if I hadn't been pulling out yarn and detangling, we'd probably have this done in about an hour. So this is a nice, quick little pattern at least. All right, so then the next rows, we just keep working around. So we chain 3, and then in each of the chain 3 spaces, we single crochet. And I didn't even slip stitch. I just kind of went to the next space because I'm lazy. Oh, now she's moving and I can't see what I'm doing. I don't want, get out of my tea. You do not drink tea. No. She's like, I just want to sit here long enough that you don't notice I'm trying to drink your tea. Silly. All right, so you can see now that we're getting at this little chain 3 mesh at the top. It's kind of hard to see, but you can see that. And then when we draw it closed, that will give us this little ruffle at the top. And you can play with that. I've even done leaves like I would. You can play with all the different embellishments you want so that when it's closed, I think so on this green one, you can see that I did the mesh, but then I added leaves across the top so that when it's pulled closed, oh no, I lost the string. This is why I use the little beads, because I can't find where the ends are supposed to be otherwise. When I pull it closed, you see it's got like leaves on the top. So feel free to play. Don't swipe at me. Winch. She's swiping me. I know, she's a teenager. She thinks she can have caffeine. I'm like, no monster drinks for Kitty. But you can also do little picots here. So I've done before where I would do chain 2 and then a picot. Maybe we'll do that on this one just to have it mix it up a little bit. On the last row, we'll do just a little, switch it up and see what that looks like. You really only need about 3 rows like this, just to give it a little distance from the drawstring so that when we draw this closed, we have our little top. I mean, you wouldn't need it at all, but I really like having some type of finishing on the top of it. Besides, if we're doing this on stream, we should have something different than the pattern to share, right? So let's see, it's kind of mermaidy. I wonder if I could do something mermaid-ish. I don't know. Maybe the picots would look like little bubbles. Where is the end of my row? Because I didn't. 1, 2, 3. There it is, right there. Okay. All right, so I think we're... All right, so we're back around to the beginning. So this last row then... Oh, goodness. But again, you can see how this yarn changes colors. I just love how it changes slowly but fast enough for this pattern. All right, so let's try a chain 2... Then 1, 2, 3, and then slip stitch in the 3rd, and then chain 2. So we'll give it a little bubble at the top of each of these. Maybe we do it every other one. Because sometimes less is more. So that, because it's a bubble and a blank one and a bubble, so that when we draw a string, we have some bubbles, but not too many. Okay, just my reminder to pick up my yarn. Okay, so then chain 3, single crochet, and then chain. So how I do this when I'm doing these bobbles, since I'm chaining 5 but slip stitching in the 3rd one, I will just chain 2 and then hold it there and then do my 3. That way I know which chain I'm going in without having to count backwards, because I'm lazy. And then I do my other 2, and then we'll single crochet. I refuse to do things the hard way if I can help it, and I don't like having to stop and count and that kind of thing if there's a way around it. So anytime I'm doing like something I need to count, I'll somehow mark that spot. I mean, I don't really use stitch markers, but on this it's like it's only a couple of stitches, so I can hold that spot with my hand while I do the next little bit. All right, let's see how that's looking so far. Yeah, that's kind of cute. Just a little embellishment. Kind of looks like a little crown. What? Yes, I'll give you your Catzilla again. If I can see the screen. Are you happy now? You happy now? So I also got a USB adapter, not USB, Bluetooth USB adapter for my computer so that I can get my AirPods hooked up so that I can hear the notifications, because I don't have I don't use headphones while I'm doing this, and I'm finding that my desktop notifications don't really come across very well to tell me when I'm being followed, or when um, God forbid somebody subs or give cat treats or whatever. And so I'm determined to get better about it. So I've got myself that to set up. Plus, my husband, after I streamed the Cricut vinyl cutting, he bought me, before I even got off the stream, he's like, I ordered you another microphone. I'm like, what? Here, he got a conference room type microphone that, because this OBSBot camera works great for the walkabout. Well, it might make you guys nauseous, but that's not my problem. I tease. But the microphone on it only follows me, and it doesn't follow other people in the room. And so he felt that it was very distracting to have not both of us being able to be heard. I'm just gonna weave in these strings real quick before I close it up, or I won't, because we know me. I have a history. All right. And this yarn, fortunately, is very fuzzy. Well, fuzzy and tangly, so I don't need to do a lot for it not to unravel. I'm just gonna... You were just here. I'm not giving you another one yet. Yeah, you heard me. You can purr all you want. Yes, you're adorable. You're fat. It's a statement. The vet said so. I can't give you what you want. I'm not going to say the word, or she'll have expectations. You have to wait for chat to give you things, because I am not going to cave to your whims. And Buggables already gave you some, so you're spoiled. All right. Just wanted to get down here to these double crochets to really bury my yarn in. Okay, so that's good. And then I just have those other two in. All right, so then let's just do our drawstring. Although I ordered more beads. Where did I put them? Oh, I bet they're in the tote. Well, the box of them is in here, but I think there's two rattling around in the bottom. I've also used pony beads before. Those are really fun. But I do have two of these, so yay. All right, so now I'm just going to find the end of my yarn again. Quinn, did you do this? Did you do this? No, I did this. I could try and blame you, though, because you're cute. You could take it. Especially once this yarn's been unraveled, it's very tangly. It's usually good when it's new, but it's beyond new now. Because this may be the second time I've unraveled it, because I used this for classes. And so a lot of times I would show something and then unravel it and show it again. Yes, you're cute. Maybe I brush you. If you sit there, I'm going to brush you. Oh, that'll do it. It's the only time she lets me brush her is when she's trapped on stream. Hi. Yeah. Look at that. Look at all that fur. She's like, you stole my fur. Oh, my music stopped again. So close. Just got to make our drawstrings and then we're done. No, I don't want to buy it. I already bought it. I'm sorry. Oh, it's insistent now. It's like, you've listened to it 3 times. You need to pay for it now. All right, we'll try the next one. Oh. It says I should open my wallet. Oh well. Well, at least this one I bought, so it won't harass me. I need to just get logged in on this computer with the same account I bought the others with. Okay, so for the drawstring, it's really difficult, so pay close attention. We do a slip knot, and then we chain 50. It's really complicated. This intense music is going to make me make it too fast, though. And you can do it however long you want. Basically, you just want to make sure it goes around the bag. So when I get to 50, basically I just let go, lay the bag down, and make sure that it's enough to go around. And sometimes it's too much. So like in this case, depending on how loose your chains are, basically I just want it tight enough to go around. Which is probably more about 35 in my case, because I was doing those a little looser than usual. So then I just cut it. So there's my first one. And then we make another one. I guess maybe I just miscounted. Okay, that's about 45. Maybe I went to 60 last time instead of 50. So, all right, still 45 looks good on this. So I have two the same length. So then all I do is I put my hook through the bead, but not that hook because that one's not that hooked. I think my 3.5 millimeter does so. So I'm just gonna put this on the middle of each of these. I guess I should put my OBS screen back up so I can see what I'm doing. All right, so then we just want to weave these in from opposite sides. So I think I'm just going to mark. Let's see, what do I have to mark it with? Maybe I'll just do this. But, I mean, I can count it out, but I always get confused. So I just want them to come on opposite sides. So I'm just going to mark it. Straight pen, any kind of clip, just something so you kind of know where the opposite sides are. So then I'm just going to go in and out on those, on this side, and grab this end, maybe. Grab this end and pull it through. So I want that bead on that side, so then I flip it over and I go in and out through this side, and then grab the other end and pull it through. So that's my first one. And I can go ahead and tie these off if I want. And basically I just tie it where they're touching. And then I will weave these ends in through this chain in a minute. But you know how much I love weaving in ends. So then I assume this bead will go over here. So I start from this side. And I actually like to have the strings go on opposite sides, so I might come back one and go this way so that the over is under and the under is over. Does that make sense? See, this one's going over, so my other one will go under. I just find it kind of makes it more drawstringy. I don't know. That's not a word. So it'll be a little off center, but nobody else is going to know. But it's close to center, that's why. So then I just go to the next stitch here and go over, under, and grab my other end and pull it through. And again, on these little bags, this is really pretty easy. On the bigger bags, they're a little more complicated just because there's more loops to go in and out of. And then I'll take these two ends and tie them together. Alright, pins out. And we can test it real quick before I weave in the ends. And so if we pull on our beads, our center pulls nice and tight. And there's our little pouch with our little crown of baubles, something. Kind of looks more snowflakey on top. I love the variegated in the center, how it's a little bluer. Yeah, so there's our little pouch. And it would hold a whole set of dice, maybe even two. So I just need to weave in my ends now, because you know how much I love doing that. And actually this one I already rotated around wrong, so the ends are inside. I can just do it this way. Okay, so I'm going to do it on camera because you know I won't do it when I get off the camera. So here we are. Oh, thanks. Yeah, that works too. I just didn't want something that thick for this one because it's thin. I actually kind of, my favorite for these is actually I'll get like little leather cord, but kind of smooth leather. So it slides without kind of fraying the yarn from friction. But I don't know. I kind of like how the drawstring blends in too. And then I usually just go back a stitch or two. But I bet if I did I-cord with this same yarn, it would be pretty thin. Let go. All right, there's one drawstring. Now here's my other. Look at me being accountable and weaving in my ends. Thank you all for staying with me and making me weave in my ends. Well, I like functional items too. I mean, I love making plushies, and everybody likes plushies. But I really do like this. Another project I really like are my, ironically enough, my granny square tote bags and my granny square jester hats. Maybe because they were my, atonement to the granny square. But I do like that they work up really quickly, and yet they're really functional, and I get compliments on them all the time. Unfortunately, I don't wear hats because I get too hot now, but But I like that when I'm at Pride or other festivals, the jester hats have sold rather well. It also helps that we were doing roller derby events for a while. They definitely sold well there, especially the black and white ones. I never got through without selling the black and white ones because the referees will buy anything that's black and white, apparently. But I'm not sure if we're going to be doing the same roller derby. We were doing youth roller derby, and honestly, it didn't pay that well. It was usually like a full day event, like all day, and we might make $200 where normally we make $500. And this isn't me selling stuff. Usually I have a few things there just because I'm there anyways, but it's mostly teens and young adults that, you know, this may be their first job. And, but it's a long day for them to sit there and make, you know, $100 or $50 each, you know, not a lot. And the booth fee was free, which is why we did it. But one time it was a 3-day event and we made $500 across 3 days with like 7 people. So that was a lot. But then, they're going to start charging for it this next year. And I just don't think I can justify paying for it because we just don't, usually that would take about 10% of what our booth fee, what we make at the booth. And, you know, when making crochet stuff, the profit margin is not that high. And so we'll see. We've also been invited to do an adult roller derby event out at a fairgrounds, which I think could be more fun because adults have more money than youth do. And at the youth events, these parents they spend a lot of money for their kids to be in roller derby, and they do a lot of fundraisers. So I just got the impression that they just didn't have as much spare at the end of it all. Because like they were roller derby tournaments and stuff. So the teams had already had to spend money just to get there because they had to travel to the tournament. Some were out of state even. And so I just found it probably wasn't nearly, they just didn't have the expendable cash to spend at our booths. Because they did buy stuff, just not nearly as much. And so anyways, so I've got to figure out what booths we're going to do next year. The younger ones of our group have gotten invited to do a children's business fair locally. We've done it the last 2 years. And the lady who was running it didn't think she could handle it this year due to some health issues. But we're all helping her and we're managing to do it. My teens helped set it up last year. So anyway, so look, evidence all my ends are woven in. I love how the back of this looks too. How these little, I don't know, the stitches on it. I think this would look pretty as a blanket because the back doesn't look ugly. You know, it's not the same, but so there is and sometimes the bead is a little too off center because I pulled it through one too many times. So, but you can shift it around. And once it gets used to where it's at, it'll stay there. So there's our little bag. Ta-da! We did it. All right. Well, thank you all for joining me and for sticking it out to the end. Thanks again, Buggables. It's always good to see you. And once I'm home more, I will try and catch your stream more too. Have you done much more of your story, of your writing? I probably should have mentioned that earlier while we actually had more people on. But I really did enjoy your story. I hope you do keep with it. Let's see, is there a cat hair in my tea? Well, writing it's the important part. The recording is a completely different skill, as I'm finding. Anyways, well, keep up with it. I'd love to see it more. And if there's any of my patterns you want me to send you, just let me know. I would love to have your input on them because I'm critiquing them a lot more as I'm looking at doing the more final pass to put it in a book. Hopefully this next week, my husband's going to have the template together in Affinity. I think it's Affinity. Because he's shifting from Adobe products to Affinity. And so we'll see how that goes. But once I have the template, then I can start putting it in for real. And then it gets serious. Awesome. Well, if you have any trouble with it, let me know. But it should let you see all of the pictures because I try not to blur them. But if there's something you see a title and it's blurred, let me know because I'd rather fix that. But when I look at it, it usually looks fine. But sometimes when I share it, it shows up blurry. I'm like, oh, dang it. But I'm trying to make Patreon the master where I store all the patterns because I was doing them through my website, but it was too hard to tell who actually cared, who downloaded it, how many people were looking at different patterns. Because, I could see traffic on my website, but it just wasn't as friendly. And this way, it's not like I need to capture their information, but on the website, the only way I could do that was to capture their email every time they downloaded a pattern. If they wanted 5, I'd have to have them enter their email 5 times. And this way, they're just logged into Patreon, and I include them on my newsletter unless they tell me not to, And so that way they get notified of each of the patterns each month. But anyways, thank you again for hanging in there and joining whenever you can. It's so nice not to talk to the wall. Yeah, I just didn't want it to be painful, but I also, I don't know. I think if it's on Patreon, people are less likely to steal it. It's not quite like being up on the internet where people could just scrape it and grab it and go. You know what I mean? And I didn't want to lock it down, but I don't know. It's just complicated. It's like, I saw a meme the other day that was really interesting. It was like, so they tell you to make crochet plushies, but then somebody wants the pattern. And then so they tell you to design the pattern. Then they tell you to publish the pattern, but then they tell you have to learn security to lock down the pattern. And then you have to do social media to publicize the pattern. And then you have to do videos to prove you're not AI making the pattern. And then you need to, and it was so real. It so hit home because honestly, I'm never going to get rich doing Twitch, right? I'm not a theater kid. I'm not going to be one of those channels with hype trains every 5 seconds. It's just not me. But to have this presence is important. And I think it's really made my patterns better because it's helped me at least have feedback from people in real time. And I think it holds me more accountable to finishing things. And it gives me that body double, if nothing else. And so, but yeah. And I think there's directions I've taken my patterns and plushies that I might not have without people commenting on them as we went. And, cats invading. What could go wrong? All right, well, I think I'm going to take off and go buy my yarn or go pick up my yarn that I've already bought. And so I'll be ready for Tuesday to make Jimothy. I might be on my second one by then. I've got to make one for a friend. She's commissioned me to make one. So we'll see how that goes. All right, well, you have a great rest of your weekend and your chores and all that. And say hi to your chickens and all your little critters. And the kitty cats, of course. Quinn says hi to the kitty cats. All right. I'm going to have to put a new cat cam up here on my table. Like I have a cutting table that's higher right behind my monitors. And she's sitting there hanging off of it. I should take a picture of her while she's doing that. Anyways, I'll post that on Discord later. Then you can see she's adorable. She's just all curled up at the edge of the table. Yeah. Anyways, all right. Well, you take care, and I will see you next stream, mine or yours. And maybe I'll eventually get back to the chessboard thing. You know how that goes. ADHD squirrel. All right. Bye.